While the civil rights movement was at its peak in the 1950s and 60s, the struggle against racism is still alive to this day. For that reason, I think it is important to reflect on the struggles of our past, the struggles surrounding the civil rights and black liberation movement, taking into consideration what they were and how they were refuted. In truly understanding the oppression and hardship that black Americans faced, it is my hope that readers will empathize with the oppressed and attempt to continue their work and their fight. In doing so, it is also my hope that readers will gain a sense of courage and empowerment that we too can ignite change in fighting for what we believe in. While I feel that all the texts and sources within my anthology emphasize the struggles that sparked the civil rights and black liberation movement, I wanted to focus on the things that really stood out to me and therefore have chosen to revisit My Story by Rosa Parks, Lay Bare the Heart by James Farmer, Merry Go Round by Langston Hughes, The Murder of Emmett Till, an American Experience documentary, and a photo taken by Fred Blackwell in Jackson, Mississippi on May 28, 1963. As I had mentioned in my introductory essay, the most significant recurring themes shared by the texts I have chosen are inequality and the unethical treatment that accompanied it. So let's see how this applies to my first text, My Story by Rosa Parks. Now we all know that Rosa Parks refused to give up her seat on a segregated bus, which led to her arrest. And while the bus's segregation policy is a clear example of inequality and unethical treatment to begin with, let's look even further. After questioning why police officers push around black people, an officer responded, "I don't know, but the law is the law, and you're under arrest." This not only goes to show that such discrimination was unjust, but it was unsupported, concocted by mere hatred, arrogance, and a sense of entitlement. This is what people had to tolerate on a daily basis, and again, I say tolerate because any other actions would have resulted in arrest or worse. James Farmer also shares his own personal experience, having witnessed his father tolerating being degraded in order to prevent any trouble and keep himself and his family safe. Farmer expresses his anger, and as readers, we can relate to his feelings of embarrassment, as it is natural to want to ward off the feeling at any cost. More so, we can relate to his anger, especially now, knowing that something like this would never be tolerated in 2014. Farmer does a great job at showing how his father isn't necessarily containing himself, he's being controlled. Similarly, Langston Hughes adds strength to the protests by writing from the point of view of a child. In Merry Go Round, Hughes attempts to make his readers feel bad for the young character. Seeing how this black boy is regularly sent to the back of the bus, and there is no back of a merry-go-round, he feels he may not be able to ride it. Hughes depicts a confused, saddened, and even resentful child who is unable to enjoy the simpler things at an age in which he should be able to. His youth is being robbed from him. The Murder of Emmett Till documentary emphasizes to its viewers the blatantly unjust positions the oppressed often found themselves in. Emmett Till was tortured and murdered according to witness testimonies and surrounding evidence. In today's legal system, those would be hard facts to dismiss. However, in 1955, Emmett's murderers were not indicted, a result of racial discrimination and ultimately a sense of racial superiority by the white men who were jurors on the trial. These were the realities that black people in this time period faced. They were not entitled to a fair trial, their words meant far less than the words of white people, and as a result, they lived in fear. This story attempts to get the readers to empathize with Emmett's family and friends and feel their discomfort and anger by presenting such obvious facts that were so clearly neglected, something that nobody could ever imagine being forced to tolerate. Lastly, I wanted to go back over an image that I found incredibly heart-wrenching. This image, taken by Fred Blackwell on May 28, 1963, portrays two white students and a black student attempting to integrate a whites-only dining counter by participating in a sit-in that took place at Woolsworth in Jackson, Mississippi. The students sitting at the counter appear to be enduring mental and physical hardship and are surrounded by a large group of white citizens, mainly around their own age, who clearly do not support their presence. In the photo, it can be seen that the students sitting at the counter already have condiment remnants all over them, and that the boy holding the glass jar appears to have just finished pouring sugar all over them as well. It is also seen in their hair and covering the counter. Not only does the photo portray the emotions of the students subjected to this horrible treatment, but also the attitudes of the people issuing such treatment. Look at the look on the woman's face. Although she is protesting, she looks like she has lost hope. Look at the man in the audience smoking, content with what he sees, and the man to his left, excited about the result. There are all those people surrounding the man pouring the sugar, yet nobody does anything. The man behind him looked eager for him to continue, and there are people further back in the photo who are laughing, who could not care that something this terrible is happening right in front of them. This photo really begs the question, how would you feel if this were you? If a group of people poured condiments all over you while laughing, nobody there to defend you, let alone you being unable to defend yourself, how would you feel? This photo needs no words to describe the oppression it reeks of. The gathering of these works not only shows how widespread the oppression of Black Americans once was, but it also greatly amplifies the gross mistreatment, inequality, and violence that they were subjected to, and worse, for no good reason. It is my hope that these stories have moved you to be actively disapproving of the actions in our past, enough to do your part in abolishing racism currently and prevent similar acts of oppression in the future. More so, on a more positive note, I hope that these sources have encouraged the strength within you, helping you to believe that your words can also make a difference.